Good morning and welcome to the Monday Morning Minute. I'm your host, Dr. Pete. So I hope you had a good weekend, and today I want to talk a little bit more about perspective, but of course from a different angle. Did you know that within inside of all of us, including you right now watching, that there are trillions of little spies throughout your entire body? They're called cells. And what are they spying on? They're spying on the thought patterns of the human brain, what you think about, and what you believe and what you value. Your cells are constantly in tune to the brain. So one of the bigger questions that I want to bring up today is that can we actually heal our body? Can we heal these cells by the way we think and, in essence, through our perspective? And I think you're going to see that the answer is yes. If you've ever heard of the placebo effect, well, medicine hates the placebo effect for one reason. It's their arch enemy. The fact that you could actually heal without medication or surgery is absolutely incredible. So I want you to think of this, that every single research article in medicine today, especially in journals like the New England Journal of Medicine, the Journal of the American Medical Association, the Lancet, the British Medical Journal, whatever, they're all incredible journals filled with information that can help humanity. But every single one of those research articles must pass a placebo-controlled, double-blinded analysis. And to the simple layperson, that means they needed to know if it was the drug or if it was the person's brain and body themselves that made all the difference. Many times, these research projects fail to meet this, and they get kicked out, much to the chagrin of Big Pharma, who needs to get these drugs pushed through. So what I think is really important, something that I've been able to witness over my 30 years as a doctor, is the body's filled with these innate repair mechanisms, and every cell which houses DNA has the capacity to be activated into these very, very powerful repair mechanisms. But where do they begin? Where does it all start? It all starts in your mind. It starts right here in what you're thinking of, which goes right back to our perspective. But let me give you an example. In 1957, there was a gentleman named Mr. Wright, and he was dying of advanced lymphosarcoma. This guy had tumors the size of oranges growing out of his armpits, in his chest, in his abdomen, in the liver, in the intestinal system. His entire body was ravaged by these tumors, and he didn't have much time to live. His doctor, who was Dr. West, was heading a research project with a new chemical called cribiosin. And the patient wanted this, patient Wright, he wanted this drug more than anything. Of course, the doctor says, listen, I can't give it to you. It's part of a research protocol, and I must stick to the protocol. And the protocol says that you have to live at least 3 months beyond the start of the medication so that we can measure its effects. Well, unfortunately, Mr. Wright, he didn't have but 3 or 4 days to live. But through his persistence and determination, he gets Dr. West to prescribe him the medication. So he starts the medication on Friday. The doctor believes he'll be dead by Sunday. Doctor returns to the clinic on Monday only to find that Mr. Wright is up and walking around. He feels fantastic. Doctor's like, what is going on here? Maybe this chemical does work. 2 weeks later, no cancer. Everything eradicated. All the tumors are gone. Now, can you imagine Mr. Wright? He's psyched, totally psyched. He's screaming from the mountaintops how powerful cribiosin is and how amazing it is, what it's done for him to destroy his cancer. So about 2 months go by, everything's been going fantastic, no problem. But it comes out in the literature that, or actually it was in the literature, it was on the news, that cribiosin wasn't that good. It wasn't showing good initial results. And of course, Mr. Wright hears this and immediately starts falling back into sickness, and his cancer returns. So his doctor says, wait a minute. there's something here, and I've got to do anything I can to help this guy out. So he says, listen, come on back in. We've got a new Krebiosin, which is more advanced and more highly potent than the first version, and you're going to love it. So he says, I want to bring you back in at the end of this week, and we're going to start injection therapy. So the problem is that there is no new improved version of Krebiosin. There's just distilled water. So he starts injecting him with distilled water. And within 2 days, all the cancer's gone again. It's like, what? How does that happen? Well, of course, we know it happens because the brain and the body are communicating with each other. Unfortunately, within the month, the Journal of the American Medical Association puts out an article that refutes Krebiosin, that it has no effect, it's never helped anybody, and it's being taken off the market and not being considered for future research. 2 days later, Mr. Wright's dead. He's dead. So what's the deal here? The deal is this, that what you think about, what you believe in the depth of who you are, controls the way the body works, and whether the body will heal or whether it will not heal. And this brings me right back to the communications that I've been having with you over the prior few months about what you believe and basically your perspective. Your perspective is paramount. Without it, without a good, positive outlook, you run the risk of having these little spies that are eavesdropping on your mental conversation and start becoming sick. Let me bring it back a second to the biochemistry and to the doctor portion of it. Every time you're stressed out or overthinking things and becoming highly negative, your body begins to release a secretion of stress hormones, which bathe all your cells in a stressful environment. Then those cells begin to suffer and struggle. And for many, they can change or metamorphosize into cancer, making us sick. But as easy as it is for me to say that, I want you to think of the flip side of this. That if your mind is filled with joy and hope and consistently looking at the positive outlook, your body begins to secrete happy chemistry. It releases a massive amount of oxytocin, which is that feel-good chemical that makes us all feel delicious. And how does it do that? Well, it secretes it through the endocrine system, and then it leaks into the entire body, and it bathes your cells of your body in this massive, massive neuroprotective chemistry. That helps to diminish these processes of cancer and other diseases. And I'm not just talking cancer, by the way. Oh my God, we're talking depression, anxiety, we're talking fibromyalgia, we're talking fatigue, pain, whatever. These are all issues of the human physiology which are linked in to the way you think. You see, there's a database, I think it was called the Spontaneous Remission Project, 3,500 different research articles on just this placebo effect itself, how people have overcome stage 4 cancers because of the way they think, because of what they believe, and because of how the cells in the body are listening in to what you're thinking. I don't care what people think of you when they look at you and they say, oh, he's a very pleasant gentleman. He's always in a good mood. Really? Inside, you may see the opposite. Matter of fact, that might be you. You might go out into the world and everybody loves you, but inside, you're hurting. And no one else can see that. No one else knows that's going on except the cells in your body, because they're spies and they're sitting in there and they're listening to what you have to say to yourself. As you formulate a phenomenal perspective, if you constantly stay in a joyful state and you work at it every day of your life, your cell structures will also benefit as a consequence of the release of the happy chemistry, which allows them to flourish. And when your cells flourish, cancer and disease does not flourish. So today was really about me trying to help you tie the link between your emotional state, what you feel, and how your body actually works. And it's amazing because if your body works incredible, the body's going to then turn itself back onto the brain and say, we're good down here, we feel good. Then the brain's going to go, wow, this is amazing. And what you do is you develop a cyclical lifestyle of joy and health. And you're healing and repairing yourself through this thing called the placebo effect, which, yes, it pisses off big pharma and medicine. They believe that they know better than your body, that your cells, your innate genetics that's been around for millions of years. Don't get me wrong. We still need medicine. We need surgery. We need certain drugs when people are, on their deathbed. But if you truly and ultimately want to stay healthy and you want to be in control of your own life without giving responsibility to your health to someone else that you don't even know, for crying out loud, then start doing the most simple and fundamental thing possible. This Monday morning, I want you to see everything you can from a positive light. I want you to seek out the most warm, heartfelt things you can. This morning I was snuggling with my wife and kids and then my kitty cat. These three things are amazing to me. They bring warmth and joy. And with warmth and joy, my cell structures are being bathed in oxytocin, antioxidative chemicals that help my body to heal and continue on. So this week, have yourself an awesome, positive outlook with an amazing feeling and try to experience as much love as possible. Let frustration go. It will serve nothing but your early demise. People who are optimists live 9 to 10 years longer than the pessimist. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see you next week on the Monday Morning Minute.